Welcome to this new session organized by the Global Supply Chain Council. My name is Max Henry. I'm going to be your host and moderator, together with Snigdha Verma, who is going to be my co-host today for this new discussion. So, as some of you know already, this is going to be a panel discussion. We invited different industry speakers to join us and share their views and insight on this topic. And the topic today is around AI in digital procurement, and we call it from today's use case to tomorrow's transformation. We're going to talk about, of course, how AI and Gen AI is being used specifically in procurement. And we're going to talk about the pros, the cons, the advantage, the difficulties and challenges that companies are facing in rolling out those AI tools and technology. This session is being recorded, so if you miss part of the session, you can always watch a replay, which will be posted on gen.net. It's also an interactive session, so if you want to ask a question, feel free to ask at any time. You can just simply click on the question mark button located at the bottom of the screen. We will prioritize those questions. We prepare, of course, a number of questions ourselves, but we will take those questions as much as we can earlier, so then you have a chance to ask as many as you can. And just we want to continue interacting with you guys watching the discussion. So maybe before we get started on our own topics, I'd like to get maybe Snigdha to introduce herself, and after that we can get the other panelists just also to introduce them. Okay, go ahead,
Hi,
Snigdha.
everyone.
Welcome.
Yeah. Hi, thank you, Max. Hi, everyone. I'm Snigdha, joining you from Singapore, and I have been former PricewaterhouseCoopers consulting professional with operations and change management experience across 17 years, driving procurement and strategic transformation across supply chains and change management across sectors, heavy industrials, pharma, telecom, and tech, and including that I have worked across geographies: UAE, Africa, Southeast Asia, and India. Thank you, and I'm very excited about this topic, AI and procurement.
Yes, we are all excited about it. So maybe I'll get next Nita to join us. Nita will not be switching on our webcam, but she's with us. And go ahead, Nita. Welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon, based on the time zones. I'm Nita Nair. I'm the regional head of procurement in Saudi, founder member of procurement in the GCC for Emirates and Bank. And yes, I'm very excited on the AI topic because it's spoken a lot, and how much is it used is what we need to see. And this topic is I think, very close to everybody's heart this time.
Thank you, Nita. All right, next we have Sandeep also joining us. Hello, Sandeep. Go ahead. Make sure to unmute you.
Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sandeep. I'm joining here from Dubai. I had Domino's for Middle East, North Africa, Pakistan, and in almost 25 years experience on hardcore supply chain, basically food, end-to-end, including the strategy transformation, global sourcing, logistics strategy, planning, 360-degree on supply chain. So I'm very excited to talk on this topic. It's really exciting topic. Thank you.
Good to see you again, Sandeep. We have Anirban also joining us. Go ahead, Anirban.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Anirban. I'm heading supply chain for Century Ply. Approximately 30 years of experience, India and abroad. Looking forward for exciting session.
Good to see you again, Anirban. And then we have Kenneth as well joining us. Hi, Kenneth. Go ahead.
Hi, Max. This is Kenneth. I currently lead the shared services at the NTU, a local university in Singapore. I have 20 years of a bit more experience in procurement, so just here to share my point of view.
Great to see you again. And again, if you are just joining us, I want to remind you that this is a panel discussion on the use of AI in digital procurement. We're going to keep this session as interactive as we can, so feel free to ask any questions. You can do so by clicking on the question mark located at the bottom of your screen. So let me start with, I mean, everybody's talking about AI. It's probably one of the hardest buzzword in procurement right now, in supply chain as well. But from your own perspective, how real is the impact today versus the hype? Do you think, it has already a huge impact, or we are still very much in the hype, cycle? Yeah. Anybody? Feel free to stay. Anirban, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, this is a high time actually. We are going through a transformation phase. It is moving from tactical to strategic. Procurement was, long been seen as an administrative backbone, negotiating, sourcing, ensuring supplies. Now, AI is changing the identity. It is bringing intelligence into every step. It's evolving from a transaction function to the strategic driver of business value. What is helping actually that we have oceans of data and we have the records, we have the supplier performance. Now, what AI is doing, it is automating and it is bringing the relevant information, which is helping to take uh, risk-free kind of a right decision with the help of AI. So I think it's a fantastic moment where we are using AI to get the best of the business decision, and it is transforming the function from a different league to another league. That, as I said, that from tactical function to strategic function. That is my early comment.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else would like to comment? Yes, Sandeep.
Uh, Max, when you talk of a typical AI, it has not been now. AI has been there for some time, but now maybe there is the need is more arising. The AI is becoming more towards a luxury to a necessity now. Okay. AI comes with its own challenges, but now what I personally feel, if you see in last few years after COVID, there has been a huge transformation into a whole global scenario of business. That's not only business, you're talking of geopolitical things, geopolitical issues, you're talking of commodity movements, which is extremely unpredictable. It has never happened before. And two, we used to talk of two words in supply chain. One is agility and one is resilience. So just to create that entire thing and get into something which is a real-time data to take a right decision, may be right. I'm just saying, okay, based on the situation, there where you need something which gives you an exact inference of the things happening, maybe 100 variables going to the same time and trying to create an inference which helps you to take a decision. So that's where the AI comes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Kenif, Nita, what's your take on this, on the hype?
As Sandeep mentioned, AI, of course, it's become a buzzword in procurement. But how to use the AI? I think the biggest usage is to get the world information or the market information from various sources. Using our own data for AI is one use case. Okay, that is as I think we were discussing before the seminar. How much data you have and how your data is kept is the critical aspect there. But I think the biggest use case is like knowing the geopolitical situations, the research, the market availability, what are the suppliers available, what are their risks available, what is the scenario today. For example, the logistics route optimize. I mean, if you want to see the best logistics to use, the optimization to be used, I think those are bigger uses of AI, where
Yeah,
you
we're
get
gonna.
get information from the world
Yeah.
and from the various sources available out in the cloud or wherever.
Okay. Thank you, Nita. Yeah, Kenif.
I would actually simplify AI to two big areas. One, a bit of a superpower for individuals, like in a co-pilot sense, on ChatGPT sense, where you use it to become more productive in your work. There is also the AI that we embed into our systems, our processes, to make it go faster, to automate more, um, and um, help users perhaps, making the procurement journey a lot less cumbersome, more delightful, if I put it this way. So I think that two stems, right? In as individuals, as and also as an enterprise, how do we incorporate that into our organization processes?
Okay, cool. So maybe let's be a bit more practical. Can each of you maybe share how your organization is currently using AI or Gen AI tools in procurement? You know, I know that's maybe it's a little bit early for some of you to kind of report the result, but at least can you let us know, or can you share with the audience how are you going to be, how are you currently using it or testing it right now, specifically in procurement again? Yeah, Anirban, yeah.
So basically, it starts with very basic, like that. Once we have different suppliers to assess their capability and to set the parameter, and then to get the right set of suppliers for sending the RFQs. So this is the one activity which we are using certain AI tools to get the right set of supplier whom we are going to interact, because I may have 10 but I want to interact only with 3. So that is one thing is helping. Second thing is that the right cost. So when we are getting any types of if I'm talking about freight, when we are getting a cost, we are assessing against 3 or 4 internal and external parameter to understand at what spectrum that cost stands. So this is number 2. And third, the closure of the contract. For that, there are multiple different types of repetitive communication happens. So we are trying to automate those kind of communication, so that where individual value is not much, it is more of a to and fro communications, where we are trying to make it automated or bot driven. So these are the by and large 3 area where I immediately want to respond, saying that there we are using the AI.
Hey, Anirban, are you using that? Are you applying those AI technology on existing systems or software, or are you coming up with brand new tools to address those 3 areas that you talked about?
No, so it is a mix of existing system with the small startup tools, because end of the day you need to bring something new. Otherwise, like how you will develop a system with your existing softwares. So yes, we are bringing new, but again we are little cautious. We are not going for a very big investment. We are trying to see, taste, and then move, because the technology itself is changing every day. It is no more every month or every year affair. Perhaps every day something new is coming. So we are trying to differentiate between must to have and good to have, and sustainable logical cost proposition, and taking decision based on that.
Okay. Yeah. Sandeep?
So thank you, Anirban. What you said is like very, very correct in terms of that this is a low-hanging fruit in terms of this RFQs to be taken care of initially, right? That's definitely there, but my only point at this point of time is what is the crux of your business? When you talk about typical food industry, the crux of the business is the customer who's buying it. Because there is a sensitivity, there are taste changes, there are a lot of factors that's involved at that point of time. What is the main thing and the crux of the whole supply chain for us is a planning and forecasting. Because you are dealing with food which has a shelf life. Okay. If you get this corrected, lot of things will correct across the whole value chain. So if I get my customer demand in a more proactive way as to how it's going to work based on the last data or trends, that will help me to take care of my whole chain, and that will take care of demand planning, supply planning, distribution planning. That will take care of the procurement, inventory management, uh, work fund flows, everything. So where is the main crux of it? Is it so easy? I don't think so, because there are a lot of variables into it. But definitely, it has the thing. If you capture that, a lot of things will improve across.
Okay. But Sandeep, are you actually using and applying? Are you testing with a tool or system right now with AI?
Max, it's very difficult because a lot of the older things are not available.
Okay.
In our kind of business, there is multiple parties involved. You're talking
Yeah.
of aggregators, you're talking of all these things. So if that old data is involved, data is available for the customer, you can, because that is directly linked later on to marketing. Because if you are understanding what customer orders and when, and what is his trend, his weekly order, monthly order, quarterly order, what he does, in which product he orders. Based on that, you can do the whole marketing offer for him because you know the customer well. So that's another discussion,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like interesting thing to think about. Thanks.
Okay. Nita, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, Max, that's a fantastic question because AI used with the system or AI used standalone are two different aspects. For example, if I want a quick answer for any questions that I have, I can just go to ChatGPT and we get fantastic answers from ChatGPT. For example, I've guided my team to build good business requirements using ChatGPT. If you want to do any evaluation of the market, know what is available out in the market, who are the suppliers, use ChatGPT. But that those are all standalone use of AI. When it comes to systems, okay, as we are progressing, today's evaluation of the system is revolving around AIs. So the first question that we ask and the biggest criteria in identifying a risk management tool or a CLM tool is all revolving around what level of AI is built into the system and how it can help the team, help the organization improve their value proposition. So for example, right now we are evaluating a contracts management tool where the AI is helping us read the clauses, reframe the clauses, check the clause libraries, come up with some better language which the suppliers at the end user can interpret, not compromising the legal terms. So that is one of the modules that we are evaluating on the contracts management tool. Another one we have taken is the risk management, vendor risk management tool. So this is one of the biggest use case where the vendors are spread across the world. And if we want to identify who's compromised, who has litigations, who has their ratings falling down, that is one of the biggest use case that we have right now on vendor risk management. And
Okay.
rest
That's
is
it.
all on the all of them claim to be having AI on their systems, but we have to be very cautious, you know, on being sold as AI and what is actual value that you will generate out of their AI systems.
Interesting. Yeah. Kenneth, yeah. How you using it right now? What kind of test or pilot are you driving? Yeah.
So we have a few use cases. The first one, today we already do a lot of query handling on users asking for help on procurement. For us, we use, the whole university, we use ServiceNow to take in query handling. So for us, we embedded GenAI for responses. So in a way, it doesn't automatically respond because we wanted to have humans as a final check before it goes out. So that's why it's not fully automated. So we're just still monitoring that. So it gives a draft, and then my team basically takes the draft and sends it out to the users. So this is where we are on the query handling piece. Obviously, for us, we are looking at it also to potentially scale to other parts of the shared services as well for IT, HR, and the rest. The second other piece is actually a accelerator that we built. The intent of the accelerator is we run tenders as a university because we have to run public tenders because we are government funded. So the way we've used GenAI there is as part of the accelerator and the UI, we also embedded GenAI for the drafting of the searching of historical tenders, and based on the historical tenders that we've run, redraft a new version of the scope. So that's phase one. Because in the accelerator, you have to put the scope, you have to put the evaluation criteria. Using these two data points actually allows for us to automatically score and evaluate vendor submissions. So in the intent again is not to replace people, but it's to accelerate. So what we do here is to get GenAI to read all the submissions and based on the criteria list out where the vendors might or might not have done the submissions on, and then rate them accordingly independently. So then it's for humans to then ask more questions to the to the vendors to get a more holistic response.
That's interesting. Yes, Nita.
So Kenneth, is it embedded into
Yeah,
a
Nita.
system, or you're using a standalone version? Because as I was mentioning in my previous topic, you go outside the system and just go to Gen AI and start putting in your content to get an answer, or is it embedded into your system?
It's embedded. So we built the accelerator on a low code platform called OutSystems. And we then created we have the Gen AI is actually capability is actually in another AWS instance which we created with the prompts. So there's an API going between the OutSystems platform, which is the UI for the users, and then the Gen AI itself. So it's embedded inside the experience.
Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, so just one point on Nita's question. So, Nita, basically, when you talk of a typical information sake and kind of inference creating out of inference, yes, definitely you can have embedded and outside AI, what Kenneth was talking. But when you are talking of a very specialized algorithm engine made for you, because of the kind of the flow inside the AI engine that you want, then it is separate thing where the data can flow out of the ERP into that engine, and then that engine can take care of the data to just create an instance of
I agree, Sandeep. But we'll come to the next question on this, on the challenges of getting systems developed for procurement.
Yeah, that will be a fantastic question, Nita, and we'll be taking that shortly. But before we do delve deeper, I have a question around how are we viewing AI right now in the procurement space? So what I mean is like, are we looking at it as more of a cost lever or as a way to create value, or it's like a bit of both approach?
I would look at
Sorry,
it
guys,
as
I'm trying to
value
reflect
creation.
the question because I have to just
I
move
would
on.
I would look it as value creation. Cost optimization will be the result of a lot of value created around various processes.
So, think that for me, it is getting a right decision at that point of time. When you talk of a typical global procurement, there's a lot of
Yeah,
variables now. When you talk of 2018, I'm not going back. You know, we never used to take a kind of a ecosystem of geopolitical situations into the business at
right.
all. Okay,
Yeah,
today that has become the most complex thing because it affects more faster than a nuclear bomb. Because in 24 hours you can see the effect coming. You have got typical US taking a decision on India in terms of the tariffs yesterday. You can see the effect coming on today in terms of the money value, in terms of the commodity exchange, a lot of things. So this is where the influence comes out of in terms of global procurement to understand. Because if you ask me, we were trying to put up a kind of a thing where we do a direct commodity index from that country to understand the trend of commodity and then take a decision, which was not available at all. Okay, so these kind of things are there which needs an instant data to take the decision at that point of time because the data can change over the situation in next 24 hours. Thank you.
yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Anyone else like Nita, would you like you mentioned about value creation at starting and then cost will be an outcome of it. Would you want to like say dig deeper? Like, I mean, there are so many use cases talking about spend analytics and having to be able to reduce certain numbers and see the cost transformation happening through that. But equally so, value creation can be seen in dollar terms or it definitely, but how are you viewing it
It's an
currently?
all round scenario as Sandeep mentioned. Okay, coming to the global procurement to get the information across the globe for anything. Maybe it is just a cost lever, or maybe it is an operational efficiency. Maybe it's a situation that we were not aware of, and we are avoiding that risk. So I feel the AI spans across various parameters of procurement evaluation, and eventually the value is created through either cost efficiency or through operational efficiency, or maybe we are taking care of the risks that we were not aware earlier, and we would get the risks instantly from across the globe, whatever risks are there. So what I mean by value creation is across all aspects of procurement, and that eventually, when the value is increased, or we are saving the risks, or we are avoiding our risks, eventually it turns into cost efficiencies somewhere down the line.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Nita. Anirban, you had to say something. Very keen to hear your thoughts on this.
My 30 seconds on this thought that for me it is a business enabler, and how it proves that it's a business enabler is basically it's intelligence at speed. So when AI process a database, it in instant uh, information which helps us to take a faster, sharper, evidence-based decision. And also what happened that it's what for us like a resilience engine. uh, it also helps us to do some predictive analysis. It also helps to optimize resources, and most important it helps to simulate scenarios. And what happened that results into kind of a value creator. So it is beyond cost saving actually, that AI opens new growth avenues, like unlocking innovation. It helps to on sustainability factor, and it helps to a stronger stakeholder ecosystem where we can take very informative decision, where it has a kind of a 360-degree view. So it helps end of the day to be a better professional decision maker. So that way for me it's a business enabler, my take.
All right. And it's lovely to hear. Kenneth, what's your reaction to this question?
I actually don't. I mean, I guess my lens is first where as an organization we're most ready. Because
Okay.
I think from an organization perspective, especially on data, if data is not ready, Gen AI is not going to perform. So I look at opportunities based on where are the low-hanging fruits that can actually deliver value first. Value, and in my lens, in this instance, are about user experience for a start, because procurement doesn't always have a good rep. So how do we, drive faster, better for the users? And as we get more data in, say, the app that I just talked about, it actually lays the foundations on other sources, another good source of data for category planning, for other activities, so to speak.
Right.
Because with this in place, it helps clean data, and that
Fairly
cleaning, and that cleaning of the data then helps in the next use
space.
case.
Yeah.
So one comes.
Thank you, Kenneth. All of these interesting conversations is sparking me to another question, which is revolving around. There are multiple phases and multiple various ways in which we can crack the value of AI, even in the current scenario, before we get the data right. So, have we or have you in your current organizations created a total charter across various areas like strategic sourcing, vendor RFQ, contract understanding, supplier risk, or spend analysis, or the entire spectrum, right? Like where is your PO sort of stuck in terms of what is at risk, etc. Those kind of AI insights through having a cleansed data. There can be lots of initiatives. So do you have AI-based project charter to drive value creation or a cost transformation in your procurement organization? And are you project planning like this whole initiative?
So it's very, very early to say. I'm again saying it depends upon organization to organization, but it's very early to say. Okay. Definitely, AI is going to add value to the whole scenario 360 degree. Absolute. There's no question about it. How and when is a big question at this point of time. And how do I do it? Because the situations are very volatile. It's very dynamic. How the systems are performed based on that, you have to see that part of it. I may be just talking from a very food oriented, value driven thing. Okay. But definitely with so much of unpredictability and dynamism, you need a system who captures the data and gives you very fast results in terms of taking the right decision. Definitely, yes. But then, are we have a people to handle that system well? That's another question of discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sandeep. Anirban, you had to say something on the topic that on the initial.
So basically, this is again, as I say, it is a small piece you pick up, practice, because there is a lot of change management also needed, the people around. So one is that
Yeah.
AI, you are having a technology, the people who is going to manage the technology, and then we also need to believe one thing, that we are having the people in the system who need to educate. First of all, they need to unlearn to learn, and they have to educate to the manage the AI, because end of the day, we strongly believe that AI is not going to replace people, but the people who know AI will replace the people who don't know AI. So there's a complete transformation process is on. We are taking small projects. We have kind of a roadmap, but at the same time we are not taking everything in one go. Small project, small kaizen, small initiative, giving the feel to the team that yes, this is helping us. It is not an enemy, it is a friend of ours, and accordingly we are doing. So that is the reason, the example I have given, the RFQ, floating the RFQ or analyzing the RFQ, which is helping them to reduce their working hours. So today, if I have to complete a task in 3 hours time, tomorrow I am doing it in say 30 minutes. So that is bringing the interest to the environment, that yes, this is something which is the way forward. So it's a mix. It's not a technology. It is also the people, technology, and the profit. Three things need to see in a spectrum, rather than taking one in isolation. That is the important thing what I am trying to say.
Thank you, Anil. Nita, Kenneth, what is your take on AI-based project initiatives as a total charter?
So, Snigdha, as Anirban told, we are going stages by stages. So, if I'm focusing on vendor risk management, we are looking at all the pain points that we have around vendor risk management and trying to find a system which is embedded with good AI engine in it and helping us solve our problems. So, as we mentioned, AI is not a standalone tool. It has to be embedded into certain systems for a certain function. The second important aspect, that as everybody is confirming, that we don't have good talent coming for procurement. I mean, they don't come with previous experience some of the time, and most of them, they don't have the ability to build good RFQs or RFPs and the selection criteria. And business on the other side, I don't know if all of you face this challenge. Business never gives us the proper requirements for their need. Sometimes it's a one-liner. So helping the team to build a good RFP document, to build a good scope document, to build a good selection document, and then go back to the business to refine it is helping us a lot from a talent perspective. And then charter wise, as Sandeep also said, it's not one go. It's not at one go. We have to phase wise. We have to look at our bigger pain points and address those pain points in the system evaluation.
Makes sense. Kenneth, anything would you like to add or?
I'll just add a small point. I think for us, or for me, I think the way I look at priorities is, at the end of the day, not about just blindly figuring out what you plug AI into. Rather, I guess the question that I always ask my team is, what problem are we trying to solve? If you ask me if analytics can solve the problem, I rather analytics solve the problem, or data analytics solve the problem, rather than AI, because there's less error, there's less worries of hallucination. if RPA can do the thing, I rather RPA do it because it's more predictable what outcomes I'll get. For me, when I inject Gen AI, there's always an element of subjectivity to the work that I'm expecting it to do. So it's never about always what do I add Gen AI into, but it's rather what problem I'm trying to solve.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions. Probably let me take some of them. And I know that Sandeep, you have to leave soon, so maybe I'll start with this one because we talked about it. Someone is asking, are we overestimating AI? Could this be like blockchain hype a few years back? What's your take, Sandeep, on this? Do you think there is a possibility that there could be overhype, like blockchain was a few years ago?
I'll not say, see, AI is of a different levels, which level of the AI you're talking, but definitely we are not overestimating it. AI has to be there now, okay, by any chance, because again, I was saying the same thing. The inherent built in terms of the business, in terms of agility and the resilience, with the correct conditions, is going to weaken if you don't have a system which gives you a very high accurate results in terms of decision making, looking at different scenarios, which is more complicated for the business compared to the past years. That's one part of it. There is very heightened competition in the market. The businesses are looking at a bottom line driven businesses now, okay, which is important at this point of time. And there are far more thinking that has to be done on the business compared to it used to be in the past. So one part of this is this. The second part is, are we actually getting too much into AI in terms of the decision making? We are, and because of that, if you see the recent thing, we have stopped talking about the formula, the forecasting. We have stopped talking about all these things we used to talk in the past. Okay, because everything is there. Whatever is coming out of it, we are trying to put up the right data in the system. We know how to handle the system. With the output coming in, based on the output, we are trying to execute the project. So that whole brain drain is happening, which is one part of it in terms of the AI. That's another discussion, but just wanted to break it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Yeah, Kenneth, I mean, what do you think about the comparison from that question with blockchain? You are sitting in Singapore. Singapore has been very instrumental in pushing blockchain technology as well many years back. What's your view on this? Yeah.
I think AI, specifically Gen AI, maybe is somewhat close to what, for example, let me think. A very simple technology that we had when we were young. We had what's that? Calculators. And then in a school setting, you had calculators, and your teacher would be telling you can't bring the scientific ones into the exam halls, for example, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, we had digital tools coming in, like Excel, that completely changed the landscape, because we started not to just punch things into the calculator. We are able to then put more complex sort of formulas into the things that we create and auto calculate stuff, right? At a change of one cell, everything changes, and I'm able to calculate something. And then automation came, and that RPA wave, and we all think, jobs are going to disappear and blah, blah, blah. And yes, jobs did get replaced, actually, with different jobs. I think this is another one of these where we're seeing it as we go, where things are changing, and it's probably going to exponentially drive a new wave of change. A lot of organizations are not able to leverage on this because data is not ready, not because the technology is not ready. So I think it's one of those things where once the organizations get their operating model, we call it in consulting, set up and cleaned up, the exponential transformations will be seen, and we'll see roles disappear. By the same time, we see new roles. I think that's what I'm actually observing myself. So blockchain, just like any other tool and AI, they're just a technology. It's how we use it. Blockchain, unfortunately, yes, it is. There's a hype, but there's real use cases as well. But because of the technology itself, it's more restricting. Gen AI, unfortunately, is more fundamental because you can connect Gen AI to any technology and it can work differently. So I think every one of us are just figuring things out, just to be honest. But I'm quite sure it's not. Well, whether Nvidia's stock price is overhyped, I think I might actually agree. There might be some overinflation there, but is AI an overhype? I think we should take a step back and I don't think it's one of those things that is going to disappear. I think that's that's the question. Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more questions, and we only have about 15 minutes to go. So let's move on to the next one. Someone is asking, we tried AI pilots before, we didn't scale. What's a trick to make it stick? So what's your take on AI pilots? Are they working? Can you scale them? Nita, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I don't know, AI pilots, as I mentioned before, we need to know our pain points and we need to know exactly what are we trying to resolve using the AI. One of the key drawbacks of AI is that it does not give you the source of data. It brings you a lot of information from a lot of sources, but how can you rely on the reliability of the data coming from unknown sources, as Kenneth mentioned about the stock price? Okay, on what basis are they evaluating the stock price? Or is anybody able to know how AI is bringing the information to us?
Yeah, and the data could come from your competitor, for example. So that could be a problem.
Yeah, because the source of data is totally unknown. That is the biggest problem. Unless you are developing your own system, you're making use of the Gen AI engine, the AI engine, and setting the right keywords to access a certain defined reliable sources, then I feel your AI pilots will work. But you have to identify your pain point and go step by step. This is the pain point I'm trying to address. These are the sources of data that I want my AI engine to go to, and then bring me the right information. Otherwise, it could be very unpredictable. I mean, you don't know where the data is coming from.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, Anirban, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll add what Nita said, that one is that unpredictability. Second thing is that when we are taking the pilot, we need to be very sure that we have to believe that we have to commit less. Now, if we start believing that we are going to change the everything, every work process or every steps where it will be managed, I think it is too early, too early. Maybe someday it will come, but it is too early. So promise less, work on pilots, because scalability will come at a stage, and that comes with stable technology which you believe that it is going to remain for next at least 2 years. So today all the AI tools, I'm not very sure how many of us in this forum can commit that yes, this particular tool is going to stay for next 2 years, because we are not very sure. Something is getting built up every day against the latest available technology. So my suggestion or view that we should not immediately talk about scalability. It is more of change management, business transformation. Start small, keep a very close watch on the data sanity, and wait and watch rather than immediately start and talk about the scale. uh, be be within the budget, within the limit. That is my take on this topic.
Yeah,
Don't go for immediately big thing. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I mean, we had recently a session with a CPO of Telia, and he was saying the same thing about, the challenge for them to kind of really decide where to allocate the resources and the energy, given that there are new tools coming up every day. By the time you start a new pilot, there is something better coming up from another company, or a new language, or a new way of doing this. So it's very overwhelming. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the investment decision, today you are taking a decision to invest something. By the time it is getting go live, you realize that something you could have done get in a much cheaper price. So
Exactly.
it's very volatile at this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Yeah. Snigdha, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Max. So I have a question around how would you rate, like, how's Gen AI in terms of, is it safe enough for supplier contracts? Are you worried about confidentiality and, sending your own data, contract data for some sort of queries? Um,
So, Snigdha, if I will take this question, coming from a banking background, financial institutions, for your information, our laptops do not allow us to use AI on our systems for the simple reason of the confidentiality. One is we do not know how the data will be taken from our infrastructure if we allow the AI from on the systems. We are very heavily firewall guarded. So, as I mentioned, AI brings data from multiple sources and it does not disclose which are the sources of the data they are bringing.
right.
So,
That's interesting. You mentioned a little bit about the CLM tools that you're taking in. So, how's that connected? And then the CLM which are bringing in the AI, is that
yes, so
uh,
here in CLM tool, basically because of the lack of talent in the procurement, they are not lawyers, they are not legal, and if we depend on lawyers all the time, legal unit, our contracts will never get drafted and completed. So contract negotiation, we are able to redraft the clauses using a bit of the AI module, saying that okay, how can
mhm,
we rephrase the clauses? How can we, some supplier senses they're saying that the same clause they want it worded like this, whereas my template has a different wording. So we match the two wordings and we come up with the common wordings, which helps us in our contract negotiation, because there is a heavy dependency on the legal team otherwise, and our contract turnaround time is very huge. So that is one of the areas that we are really working on very hard to have a turnaround time expedited for our contracts negotiation.
thank you, Nita.
And of course, the
Anir,
performance
mhm.
reviews is yet to be seen whether we can build the performance reviews in our contract lifecycle management. How can we make sure that we are able to know our contracts are performing as per the terms and conditions written in the contract?
And these are proprietary tools that NBD has it, or this is from the third party
No, we are
market-based
we are
tool?
evaluating systems, but when we are evaluating systems, we are giving high focus to the confidentiality parameters, because if whichever tools we use, if it is going to a very generic sources, maybe our firewall will not allow it.
Okay, thank you,
So
Nita.
so that is the way. Yeah.
Thank you. Anirban, you had to say something on this question.
Yeah, quick 30 seconds. We are actually in a decision dilemma. We are still not uploading the confidential data into the system to generate the analysis. What we are trying to do, we are trying to do a reference point. Then we are downloading in our system and we are trying to do offline, or say little away from the AI, because still I think there is a cloud in the cloud, basically, that when I say cloud in the cloud, that it's all in cloud, and we are having a dilemma to share the real-time data sometimes, because we really don't know what is the source, where it will go, where it will, our data can be used. So it is kind of still it's a conservative approach. We are not using absolute, uploading the entire data set of the organization, and then we try to get something. So it's more about still transactional rather than getting the full usage of the
Understand.
AI, because there are a lot of doubts in the AI, to be very honest.
Thank you, Anirban. Kenneth, would you like to add on this?
I guess my only question is, what is the use case Are you trying to query on the supply contracts? What are you trying to do with Gen AI, like for supply contracts? Like I get the concern, but I don't understand, to what extent. So for example, are you talking about someone in the organization trying to query something? And then the question is, as an organization, are you ready for people to query? Right? So if everyone can query anything on any contract, then it's not an issue, as long as you have the proper controls. So I think it's all, I guess, security, anything technology can be managed, if I be very blunt about it. So, but we need to be very clear, what is the use case, what problem are we trying to solve? I think I'm always going back to, what is the problem, right?
Okay.
Fair enough.
We got 5 more minutes, so let's move to another question. Someone is asking, while we speak about AI and Gen AI so extensively, do you feel we are systematically approaching the problem statement instead of dumping every problem statement digitally to achieve results sooner within procurement? Good question. Can someone, anybody?
I can
Yeah,
pick
can
it because I think I just articulated what we did. So I think the reason why we created the accelerator to begin with was because we had a problem, because a lot of the interactions between procurement and the users were happening in Outlook. The resultant is that everyone then turned the system, like Ariba or whatever they call it, into a post box. So you create the Word documents, and then you load everything on, and then you publish. So technically, you're not optimizing even the use of, you're not even digital. Let's just put it this way. You're just, even the schedule of rates or the pricing schedule is all in Excel. So it's almost like you're not leveraging on what Ariba even allows for it, because the tool allows you to load. So you load, and then you push out. So sometimes our teams don't even leverage on the existing tools that we have digitally. So we're not really dumping a problem. We're just solving a problem by having a collaboration tool where procurement works with the users to deliver the output, and then have that digitally pushed to Ariba for it to be published, and then analyzed and sorted out. So I think sometimes what we are looking at is really understanding why our users, our teams don't use the digital tool the way they should use, and then solve it digitally.
Okay, all right. Let's try to take one more question. Snida, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So this question comes from category management. So what happens to category managers if AI can start running the sourcing events on its own, and we start seeing those capabilities to emerge? Any thoughts on that?
I don't think, Snigdha, that the AI can start running sourcing events. It can help expedite sourcing events or improvise sourcing events, but I don't think it will do the whole job for itself. I mean, we are now using e-sourcing tool. I have not seen any e-sourcing tool that we have evaluated that runs a full sourcing event end to end.
Okay, interesting. Kenneth, Anirban, your reaction on this?
See, there are few sourcing events uh, it's not about AI, it is about that IoT, I think, where the sourcing event can run its own. So I think also one more thing, we need to differentiate the AI and the non-AIs. So sometimes whatever in the IoT or automation, we talk this as an AI, but that may not be the AI. So I'll go with the Nita statement that I'm not very sure AI can run it, but there are IoTs or there are automations which is doing even today also without AI. So that's possible. That's possible. But AI or not AI, I'm not very sure whether we categorize that as a AI driven or IoT driven.
Yeah. Okay. Kenneth, do you think it could work? It could happen?
actually there are already tools that run autonomous sourcing, so it's not impossible. What category managers need to do better is to perform their tasks at a higher level, meaning you're not transactionally running your sourcing events, but it's the ability for you to partner with your users, influence the way the tenders being, or the scopes being written, the understanding of the category, the understanding of the levers, the cost levers to drive better outcomes when the sourcing events are run. So, some of the sourcing event activities are actually quite routine and quite mundane. Those should be autonomous and can be at some point. I think we as humans need to do what humans do best. We can influence, we can talk to people, we can have conversations, and we can learn and be knowledgeable about the area that we influence and drive change. Anything that sorry, Sima, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that thought process, and there's a little bit of a cross question over there. Now that there are certain tools that can run these sourcing events autonomously, and then there is another thought process that bulk of category management can be handled by AI in future use cases or even now. So how do we want what will be the value add these category managers can bring? Like you are talking brilliantly, like that. Yes, they have to do the influencing part, they have to do the conversation part, but what exactly would you highlight? And that's why category managers will remain relevant in the scenario. So what would that take look like?
Very briefly, in 20 seconds, Kenneth, we need to wrap up.
Yeah. So in a certain term, stop becoming the individuals behind the laptops. Move out, have conversations with vendors, visit your vendors, go understand the business of the vendors, figure out if there are opportunities for R&D, for opportunities to bring innovation into the organization. What are the value adds the vendor can bring? That's stuff that AI, yes, they can potentially do that at some point, but they will never be, a human.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you for being with us today. Thank you, Nita, Anirban, Kenneth, Sandeep, who had to go for another meeting. And of course, thank you, Snigdha, for helping me to call this discussion. This was interesting because we actually kind of understand that, it's still very early stage. There are a lot of concerns and people are really, going super slowly on implementing AI. So I think it was a good kind of reality check on what is really happening on the ground within large corporation right now. So thank you again also to the audience for all those questions. We didn't have time to take all of them, but don't worry, we will keep them. And you can also continue to ask on our Chain.net platform, but also on the WhatsApp group that we have. We'll probably organize another session on the same topic, and we'll keep you posted on the next date. So for this new discussion. So thank you again for all of you for joining us. And again, we look forward to see you at our next event on Chain.net. Thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.